Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Making 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 8 of What If Naruto Was recreated by the Shinigami. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out What If Naruto Became the Most Powerful Shinobi to protect his sister, and enjoy that guys. And also for Making 3, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Half Kryptonian and Half Saiyan guys. So go ahead, check out that and enjoy. And if you're new, yes, I indeed have 3 channels, Animaking 2, Animaking 3, which I post What If on every single day. Yes, you heard that correctly. Every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that subscribe button and become a part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be planning talking back to all of you. And stay tuned for the rest of what is coming your way. So what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, Hanzo had tried to kill Kushina and her team. However, when Naruto arrived, he became a literal death, the embodiment of death itself. As he attacked Hanzo, Hanzo found himself completely outmatched. He tried to fight, he tried his best to stand his ground, however, Naruto treated him like he was a mere child. It was because of those eyes. His eyes showed none other than the legendary Rinnegan. As Naruto proceeded to dominate Hanzo completely, his power, his strength continued to magnify as he beat the man down like he was nothing. Hanzo found himself being outmatched, outgunned as Naruto summoned his Susanoo. He became ultimate, the perfect Susanoo as he went tall. As Naruto brought the blade down and decimated the land, killing Hanzo. Hanzo was working for someone though, who had sent him here to entice Naruto to see the power that he possessed. Not to mention Fukaku being visited by someone in the hospital, as Fukaku was also able to awaken the Mangekyo. So people are out there trying to get Naruto as well. After all, he was an anomaly that just showed up out of nowhere, with this kind of power, saying that he was Madara's grandson. Now that people were curious about. So with that, Naruto calmed himself down. Luckily he had used his clone to patch up Kushina and the others as they were all unconscious. However, Naruto was surprised when he saw the others. It was none other than Yaiko, Nagato, and Konoha as he spoke to each and every one of them, as they asked him to help them, to train them. As Naruto came up with an idea, he was going to take them with him. Tsunade and her group was in a cave. Orochimaru and Jiraiya were badly hurt. It was only because of her Senju DNA that is why she was still able to stay conscious. As she heard that tapping, as she realized that they were caught, but it doesn't matter, she was gonna fight until her last breath as she got to her feet, ready to fight off the intruder despite her weakness. However, it was Naruto who came in, and she was incredibly happy to see him, followed by some others. As Jiraiya and Orochimaru wake up, Naruto proceeds to heal all of them. Tsunade watched as he even broke the bone of Orochimaru to fix it back, as that was rather complex, and yet he said that he had mere normal medical skills, which was a complete lie if she can see from that. His skills were exponentially great than she thought. So with that, he healed almost all of them. As she had saw Nawaki come in, she was shocked to hear that Nawaki was here, and see him here, not to mention he now possessed the Mokidan, something that he's been hiding away from her. As she hugged her brother, happy to see that he was okay, but she was pissed off that Naruto brought him to this war zone. As they asked who were the other kids, as Naruto told them that he was taking them back to Konoha with him. As neither of them said anything about Naruto's eyes because they had saw them, as he had the same eyes as Nagato, the Renegades. The Saiyans want to protest, but what could they say to a man that just killed Hanzo? Someone that they all had problems with fighting. So with that out of the way, they were put on watch duty. Kushina was the last one on watch as she created a clone to watch the place while she came in and flirted with Naruto. As she really wanted this, she wanted to be with him. However, Naruto was not going to do anything here, after all. In this cave, in a place like this, if she really wanted this, he would take her out on a date. And they can get to know each other better. As she was so happy about that. Tsunade also came to him afterwards, as she wanted to thank him. She also wanted him to be there when she brought up the topic of starting a medical program within Konoha, as the ninja group needed more medical ninjas on them. And she wanted Naruto's presence to be there, as he didn't mind. However, he saw that Tsunade actually started to develop feelings for him. This was not the same Tsunade who had lost Dan and Nawaki, the one that had been going around drinking for so long. This was a strong, confident shinobi, who was very, very gorgeous and beautiful, who seemed to like him right now. However, as they all gathered themselves up, Naruto went through hands as he summoned Behemoth. The ones that didn't see it yet, especially the Sannin, were shocked as hell as a massive dragon came out, as they couldn't believe what they were seeing, as it made the others laugh to their stupid expression. So yeah guys, basically let's split off. You guys can switch across the place, check it out for yourself. What is the way to leap right into this new episode, guys? The journey back to the land of fire was more entertaining than the journey coming, especially when Behemoth proved willing to carry all the group on his back. As the Rinnegan had settled down, no longer just activating on its own, he needed to get it under better control. So life was starting to look up right now. Sensei, why are you grinning? Asked Naruto blinked as he turned towards Konan. Just happy to be heading home, I guess. Out of the trio, she had recovered first. The idea of training Nagato and Konan and Yaiko to become guardians for good, well, it warmed his heart. Orochimaru was fascinated at being able to summon dragons. However, the great beasts refused to allow him to sign their scrolls, so he started to probe Naruto about information regarding them. As Naruto figured, with Kumo being high in the mountains as they were, they must have communicated with the beasts in the early shinobi era. Whatever the case it was though, it was his now, and he wouldn't let them get their hands on it. So what's Konoha like? Konan asks. Is it as big as a hidden rain? Are there more shinobis like you there? Asks Yaiko. Are there others that can summon dragons? Nagato said. Whoa, 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 said Naruto. Easy there, kiddies. To answer your question, yes. It is as huge. Yes, there are more shinobis like me there. But to be able to summon dragons, no. I'm the only one that can summon Behemoth and his race. As somebody keeps on bragging about, Kushina said. That's amazing. Are there more like Behemoth? Tch, the great lizard snorted. I'm only doing this out of respect for you and your clutch, whelp. Try to make me be your fury once again and see what happens. Whatever you say, big guy, said Naruto. Now where was I? You were telling us about dragons. Ah yes. Well, they come in a lot of shapes and sizes, and then again, I only met a handful in the time I've known them. Midori and Sharu are nice now, but they're pretty weak compared to their older brethren. Now if you were to ask about Off-Ice, he's one of the more nastier ones. He won't come unless he feels a foe is a worthy one. Then there's Taima, the dragon of many heads. A crazy fellow, that one. Parpanax is one of the older dragons, wise. But he's not their leader. Behemoth here is an old softy really. He will have you think that he's in charge, but the real boss is. Remind me to ignore you the next time I'm summoned. Hey, quiet Scale, said Yaiko. Scales? Impudent brat. If you weren't under the Uchiha's protection, I would devour you for such an insult. Orochimaru chuckled. That is all well and good, but I have some more questions. You, Behemoth said. You are certainly strange for a human. You flatter me, Behemoth-sama. So who is the boss? Nagato said. As Naruto remembered, he accidentally summoned that one right off the bat, and he was almost devoured for it. He had a very tenuous agreement with the Lord of Dragons. He was only supposed to be summoned when complete and utter destruction was called for. Anything less, and the result would be really unpleasant. Konoha might have been destroyed that evening if he not placate the dragon, to pass on his teaching to the future generation. Dragons were proud creatures after all, and they wanted to be feared by the world. As Naruto decided to take a vow of silence. Hey, that's not fair. Relax, Yaiko. Chances are you would end up signing one of these contracts once I've trained you anyway. That got their attention. Wait, you have more? Yep, I picked up a few in my travels. I got 3, counting this one, said Naruto as he tapped the scroll on his back. Dragons, scorpions, salamander. Ibiki seemed interested in summoning a second, so he got dibs there. Kushina wanted to sign the dragon contract, and they only ever allowed 2 at one time. And Milwaukee, well, he doesn't really seem interested. So I guess you will sign with the salamander like Hanzo had. Sorry, tough luck kiddies, said Kushina with a chuckle. Indeed, Ibiki said. First come, first serve as they say. As Tsunade looked over and watched him, once again he continued to amaze her. She marveled at his patience, the way he held his anger and frustration in, while dealing with the younger generation. All the things that she said to him back in the cave were quite true. In the short time that they have known one another, he had impressed and made a mark on her, attracted her. If only he didn't have that flipping attitude outside of battle. He's one of a kind, isn't he, Nawaki? As Naoki looked towards her, you're not gonna make kissy face at him, are you, sis? Oh, you were eavesdropping, weren't you? As she grabbed him, sis, that hurts. You're choking me. Jiraiya burst out laughing, as he hadn't been asleep last night as most people thought, and that had been a gold mine. And this was even better. As he laughed, time skip, the village almost had a heart attack when Bahamut dropped them off at the gate. However, they realized it was the Sanins and the Black Death. However, the doors swung open, the gates, basically, and there was hundreds. As civilians swarmed out, Naruto-sama, Sanin-sama, as the cheers were equal. As Naruto used his clones to escape, not before leaving Kushina with some information. Kushina, you're in charge. Make sure they get checked in and take them back to my place. I gotta go have a word with the old man. As he was gone in a black flash. Sensei is pretty popular, isn't he? Said Nagato. As Kushina giggled. Kid, you have no idea. Time skip. Naruto had slapped down on the decks rather hard, enough to even crack the decks a bit. I need a vacation. Hiruzen blinked. I beg your pardon? I said I need a break. You know, a break. You've done nothing but send me on missions, without even a day in between. It's running me ragged. I said it again. I need a vacation. Konoha and Homura did not speak. There was a mad glint in his eyes. Most shinobis would have been dismissed for speaking to their Kage so, but... Finally Konoha frowned, her lips pinching together in a stern line. You cannot just take a break because it inconveniences you, Naruto-dano. Indeed, Homura said, your extended absence from this war could prove catastrophic in the long run. We simply cannot afford to... Oh, I'm so sorry, said Naruto. I wasn't aware that forming a pack with the Sand and killing an S-rank ninja count as menial labor. I'm half of the reason why we're all on our own in this goddamn thing. But if you want to insinuate, as Naruto Sharingan flashed to life, that I had not been doing my part then, that's enough. Hiruzen spoke up. I will grant your request, Naruto, he said, as Naruto's smile came on his face. Lord Third, Homura said, surely you can't, it's already done, Hiruzen said. I can afford you 3 days of rest before I send you off to Kirin, Naruto-kun. But come Monday, I expect you to be in my office to lead the team I assigned you. Will that be satisfactory? Very, said Naruto. With Shadow Clone's 3 days should be enough to whip himself into good shape. I thank you for your discretion in this matter, Hokage-sama. Is there anything else you need of me? Yes, actually there is. I understand that you brought 3 children back from the Land of Rain. As Naruto raised eyebrow in the envus, had got the report rather quickly. Yes, what of it, he said. Konoha was the one to answer. And what exactly made you think that it was wise to bring 3 interlopers from an enemy nation? For all we know, they could be spies. Something stirred in the back of his mind. If I may. Death. That was what they felt. Killer intent so potent, so deadly, flooded the room. As it felt like her very being was being crushed down to the ground. As the look in his eyes. Speak another word and you will die. That was basically what that look said. You imbecile whelp, said Naruto as he turned. To fully meet the woman, I put my career on the line to bring this ring home with me. And you would question me, he said. You have no right to make assumptions, you, who would hide behind the village walls while others fight and die out there in your putrid name. Filth, get out of my sight. Despite the fear brushing down on him, Homura spoke up. Why, you have no right to assume that. And you have no right to question my judgment, little flame. Enough. Konoha, Homura, Hiruzen said. We will have a Yamanaka inspect their memories. As we did so, if Naruto no further insinuation is needed. As his gaze turned towards Naruto, I understand your anger at being called into question, Naruto-kun. Would you refrain from killing them? I cannot afford the time to go and replace them yet. The way he said it showed that he did not approve at all to the way his former teammates handled this situation either. As you wish, said Naruto as his killer intent vanished. I would think that my judgment would be above approach by now, said Naruto. Trust me when I say it is. Now I believe that you are about to tell us the reason why you want to have them enlisted in the academy. As Naruto was wondering what the hell was going on with him. He was calm, however the moment they called his question into judgment, he had just lost it. And that voice in his head was not the Kyuubi. What the hell was going on? How could you possibly confuse me with such an inferior being? As Naruto heard it clearly. You again. Who the hell are you? Said Naruto. You obviously haven't figured it out yet. Well, I suppose you didn't have that much tact the last time we met. But your path of ruthlessness intrigued me thus far. Continue. And I might not take your body after all. Before he could ask, the presence vanished completely. As Naruto wondered what the hell that thing was. However, he was in a meeting. One of them possessed a Rinnegan, sir, said Naruto. Sarutobi looked at him shocked. Truly? Yes, he never wanted to reveal it so soon, however. As Naruto closed his eyes and opened them back, Konoha and Homura were shocked as hell. So do I, said Naruto. As Naruto glanced towards the two elders, he just wants them to mess up once now so he can just blast them out through the window with the almighty push. The act of doing so might have severe repercussions, however. It would be fun to see the look on their faces. When did you awaken, Hiruzen said. Those eyes were nothing but legendary, and yet to see them in front of him. Just recently, said Naruto. Land of Rain. I should thank you for that mission, by the way. It allowed my team to bond, however. I would greatly appreciate it if this secret did not leave this room. I have yet to learn how to control them. You are most welcome, and yes, this secret remains safe with me. He cast a look toward his two advisors. However, they would not speak of this, too afraid of the Uchiha coming after them in a rage. After all, he already turned his rage upon them once already. Now, about these orphans that you brought back with you, I take it that you want custody of them. Assuming that they pass the inspection. Yes, said Naruto. Naruto watched the third raise his stamp and stamp the paperwork. Done. Also, we receive a offer of unconditional surrender from Hanzo's successor shortly after you return. The Hidden Rain is willing to become an ally of Konoha provided that we help enforce their borders for the man that they've lost. I don't suppose you had anything to do with that, now did you? Well, I did kill their leader and butcher their men. As Naruto was celebrating inside though, for the Land of Rain to join Konoha, especially as an ally, he wasn't expecting that, as that added another ally to their list, alongside the sand and the grass. Things were looking up, speaking of which, yes. Your pay, Hiruzen said, as he handed Naruto a letter opened by his own hand. As Naruto was confused as he opened the letter. Envelope. Whoa, that's a lot of zeros there, old man, he said. Consider it a reward for a job well done. With this much money, Naruto wondered how big was the treasury. If it's not too much trouble then, I have a favor to ask. Two, actually, said Naruto. First, I would like to speak with you about the possibility of a medical corps. As expected, he opened his mouth to protest the idea. However, Naruto did not give him that chance. Tsunade told me that she brought it up many times before, and I would like to give her the backing of the Uchiha clan. Now this was a calculated risk on Naruto's part. If the idea failed, he had very to lose in, well, the way of face. Surely you cannot speak for all their compatriots, Hiruzen said. The idea of the entire Uchiha clan backing something like this really bothered him. They've never bothered to involve themselves in village politics before. The fact that they were doing so now, well, it was troublesome. I can and I am, said Naruto. I have spoken with Tsunade before, and the idea of training medical ninjas is just not feasible in the time of war. What if I could provide you with one in 3 days' time? I find that hard to believe, Hiruzen said. As Naruto grinned, he loved to take on the impossible task, because when he completed them, the look on the people's face was just so shocking. I merely ask that you trust me. And as to my second request, yes, I would like to speak to Danzo Shimura at his earliest convenience. Hiruzen raised an eyebrow at that. And why, pray tell, would you want to speak to him? I merely wish to meet the man who once challenged you. I believe I can learn a lot from him. As Sarutobi thought about it for an instant, unaware of what Naruto was planning. For the first, I'll call the council into session tomorrow afternoon. You and Tsunade can speak then. For the second, I'll see what I can do. That's all I ask, sir, said Naruto. As Naruto was exiting the building, someone almost crashed into him. However, he turned and caught their shoulder at the last possible moment. Naruto-kun. As he blinked, as he recognized that it was Hoshi. Hoshi-chan, he said, long time no see. He activated his Sharingan as he checked to see if there was any injuries. It seems like Hayashi understood his message by him leaving his chakra in her system, or he was at least worried enough to not try the same thing twice. She looked rather different though in her jonin attire. However, it was rather hard to hide that bosom behind her flap jacket. Just getting back from a mission, he asked. Yes, I was running a message to the border, she said. Really? What did he say? Himitsu. As Naruto looked at her. Secret? Did she just tease him? So, how was your mission? Well, mine was easy, he said with a grin. Nothing as big shot as delivering a scroll. I mean, I just infiltrated an enemy land, killing some big shot crony shinobi, and half of his goons, before leaving with a giant scroll. See, nothing too difficult. You're teasing me, she said. No, I wouldn't dare. As he reached up towards the charm that she gave him. Still, your charm, it kept me safe. Do you want it back? Keep it, she said, as she fell into step with him, uncaring for the presence that her being beside him drew towards them. If it brought you fortune once, maybe it still will. As they walked, people looked their way at Uchiha and Hayuka walking and talking. That was unheard of in Konoha. The two prominent clans always were at each other's throats, and the two of them being potential clan heirs nonetheless was enough to send rumors flying from left to right. By the way, would you happen to be on speaking terms with Minato-san? As Naruto remembered, the look that the boy gave him at the gate. I wouldn't call them speaking terms, but yeah, I know the kid. My younger sister, Nozomi, has expressed an interest in him. She confessed bashfully. She's been trying to build up the courage to ask him out for a long time now. But with the war going on, she just hasn't been able to muster up the urge. As Naruto was surprised by that, Hinata's mother had a sister. She must have probably died in the war, he thought to himself. Still, that was great. However, he felt a bit guilty about resting, cushioning away from Minato as he had. So he was glad that someone was there, that he might notice eventually. Maybe. Probably. Hopefully. Well, good for her. I hope she'll be able to tell him. Say though, don't you have a mission record to turn in? Oh, as she made a hand sign, a clone appeared beside her. As Naruto was surprised, after all he went through in his own time to learn that, everyone in this time seemed to learn it already. Naruto-kun, she said. I was hoping that we could have that. That? Said Naruto. Date, she said. There it was, that look on her face, that innocent, cute look. As he could not refuse it. Why me? God, why me? You like ramen? Time skip. As it turned out, Hoshi didn't like ramen. She loved it. Had he been a lesser man back in his old body, he would have fallen in love just for that alone. Ramen was after all the food of the gods. Clearly, anyone that loved this stuff just the same. Any woman had to be a goddess in human form. She had to be. And to his shock, she was able to out-eat him in ramen. No one had been able to best him, not even Choji back in his days, when he was eating ramen, and yet she out-eat him. Looking only slightly embarrassed as she devoured 16 bowls. As Naruto looked down, wondering where the food went. It seems like they went all to her breasts. My eyes are up here, she said. Oh, sorry, said Naruto. It's alright, she said. Tuki laughed from behind the counter. You sure do enjoy bringing beautiful women in my establishment, Uchiha-san. At this rate, I'll have to name a dish after you. You have to wait until I can beat Hoshi over here. She's gotten me beat by a mile, said Naruto, as she blushed at his praise. It's rather funny, the first time we met, I was here with my team. Maybe next time you can bring your students, and I'll bring mine. However, her face became crestfallen. Is something wrong? I don't have a team, she muttered. Father want me to focus on my duties to the clan. Screw them, said Naruto. Well, what? She said. You're a Jonin now. Damn what your old man says. You have every right to train students if you want to. You're your own person, not a tool of your parents. Anyone who tried to say otherwise can go straight to hell. But the clan, damn the clan, said Naruto. Listen, Hoshi, it's time like these you have to stand up for yourself and As they talked for hours after that, the ice between them completely melting away as they spoke. All matter of things, from their favorite color to the food that they ate, to when they thought the war would come to an end. Laugh or share, opinions traded. Before he knew night was coming down and Ichiraku had closed. 5 hours just blink away like that. Whoa, that was quick. Yes, Hoshi said, "Thank you for dating, Naruto-san. I had a wonderful time." "Yeah, sure, no problem," he said. Before he knew what was happening, she was kissing him. Her lips felt so soft. As she pulled back rather quickly though. I'll see you tomorrow, Naruto-kun," she said. As she shunned Shin away. As Naruto decided to make his way home. He just wanted to sleep right now. Bahamut decided to take a slow trip because he didn't want to expend much energy, so Naruto was tired since. He came back concerned that he never had that much rest. Not to mention he needed to move. With the 3 kids and all the girls. Well, at least with this deposit he can make those changes and still have quite a bit of money to spare. An army of clones could make quite a few changes in 3 days. As Naruto was about to walk up the steps when he spotted flashing blonde hair a few blocks down. "Minato?" "Hey," said Naruto. The blonde seemed to fold in on himself at seeing Naruto. Those blue eyes became hard and angry. In a couple of years this man would be the 4th Kage, but right now he was a young man. A couple of years younger than him. And he was being an ass. Yes, he has always respected his father, but even though he never knew him, there was always some respect there. But this person did not remind him of his father at all. "Uchiha-san," he said, coldness in his tone. "I see you're still alive." Well, that was cold. "What are you doing out this late?" "Practicing." "Looked to me like you were following someone." "Don't you have enough pet projects?" he said. "You already have Kushina under your thumb. Then you brought those 3 orphans back from the rain this morning. Now have you suddenly taken an interest in me? Why am I not surprised?" "Whoa now, no need to get so angry. I was just curious," said Naruto. "You were trying to steal my jutsu, you mean?" "Hey now, that's not nice," said Naruto. "I'm not trying to be rude to you here. I've heard nothing but good things and I just want to talk. One Konoha shinobi to another, you know? I mean, where's the harm in that?" "Fine. What do you want to talk about then?" Minato asked. As Naruto paused and considered his options, this was just his chance to get his father to start work on the Hiroshin. The Hiroshin Rasengan was the thing that made his father was well known. "Well, I'm rather interested in seals," said Naruto. "Not the storage kind, mind you. Those are simply enough. I was wondering, could a seal be used for instantaneous speed, such as teleportation, or perhaps even to enhance bodily functions? Things such as speed, strength, stamina. Those sort of things," said Naruto. As Minato considered it, "That's a rather interesting innovation. I'm working on something similar actually. Before you ask, no. I don't need any help." Wait, that should not be possible. He was rather certain that his father had used the Uzumaki knowledge to create the Hiroshin. Since Kushina did not fall for him in the cycle, one could wonder how did he come up with that knowledge by his own. In the end, Naruto filed away for later though. "Perish the thought," said Naruto. "I'm busy enough with Kushina and my other students. They're a real handful, you know." That was the wrong thing to say, it seems. Something snapped inside Namikaze. His eyes became like glaciers, cold, unflinching. The boy muttered something. "Huh?" "Say it again." "I said." As Naruto felt the air rush out of his lungs. He never expected it. One moment his father was there, next moment his father flickered right in front of him and slammed his fist into his stomach. "Stay away from Kushina." However, that hit pissed Naruto off greatly. As a head and a black bone, an arm made nothing from bone materialized and gripped Minato. Naruto smashed him against the wall with tremendous force. A look of absolute fear spread across Minato's face. As Naruto was pissed off. "So, you wanna play, huh?" As the hand vanished, allowing him to drop to the ground. "Alright, Minato. Let's play." Minato didn't have time to speak as a boot slammed into his gut, throwing him across the street like a pedal. His body bounced through a stall and kept on going, as Naruto was upon him, grabbing his throat. As he raised him in the air, "Let's take this somewhere private." In a black flash they were gone. One moment they were in the market district, the other they were in a training field. Minato was shocked. Did they just teleport halfway across the village in the blink of an eye? How did you? You're not the only Flash, you little shit. As Naruto threw him, as Minato flipped and landed. As something was definitely wrong with Naruto. His eyes were glowing dark. Not normal for the Sharingan, Minato launched a kunai towards him. However, something swat it aside. You know, I didn't want to fight you at first. But now that I know that you're a total prick, I'm gonna beat it out of you. Hold it! Naruto blinked, as his sense of self snapped back to focus. As he was an angry, red blur between them, it was Kushina as she wrapped a hand around his wrists. What are you thinking? Uchiha or not, you can't just go around striking shinobis. You will get in trouble. Naruto was sure that he heard a soft snicker from Minato in that moment, and he probably did because Kushina snapped her gaze towards him. And as for you, her eyes were red with anger. How dare you touch him, she said. I told you, once already, if you ever hurt him, I'll never forgive you. Kushina-chan, don't chan me, Minato, she said. You have no rights. You attacked him first. He's a Uchiha, said Minato. Think about it, as soon as he arrived at the village, start to prosper. It's too convenient. He cannot be trusted. Leave, she said, her voice was cold. Colder than he ever heard it. I never want to speak to you again. Kushina, I told you to leave, she said. As Naruto turned his back, this argument was not his. This had started ever since he put himself between them. And it was coming very soon, he could tell. Kushina, please, Minato begged. He's just a stranger. Don't listen to him. I love you. Shut up, she said. If that was true, then why did this stranger save me? Admit it. You care more about this village than everything else. Even me. You always have. I'm just a weapon to you. Like everyone else. That's not true. Idiot. I never want to see you again. I hate you, she said. Let's go, Naruto-kun. She looped her arm in his and walked off. Minato's fist clenched tightly. As he saw it, she liked him. She liked him, the outsider, the Uchiha. The one that could not be trusted, but yet everyone seemed to adore him. It should be him. It should be him on her arm. Uzumaki Kushina had never been one for subtlety. And now that came back to bite her. And her beloved Uchiha in one blow. Neither would know it at the time, but they just made an enemy for life. Even the beyond. Uchiha Naruto, said Minato as he grit his teeth and clenched his fist in rage. Time skip. Naruto opened his eyes, as he felt like he was placed through a meat grinder and put back together. However, what he saw was every man's wet dream. He had to blink a few times to clear his vision, as the taste of sake still lingered on his tongue. He did a bit of drinking last night after crushing Minato's spirit. Gah, there it was again. The reminder of what him and the fault Kushina had done to that poor boy. The look in his eyes was completely soul-shattering and venomous. The next, he was almost certain he made an enemy of his father last night. But try as he might, he couldn't think of a way to undo it. Not without giving Kushina to him. And he was unwilling to do that. Never. It was so strange. The reborn Uchiha wasn't that certain when he started to view her as a separate person. But to him right now she was just the beautiful Kushina. However, as he looked down, as he was stuck in a coffin of flesh, in other words, he was surrounded by Kushina, Mikato, Karura, Pakura, and Hoshi. What the hell? Why couldn't he remember anything then? Turning the doorknob. Yeah, that was the last thing he remembered. He turned the doorknob and he saw, Mikato with a bottle of sake. He had drank some bit to resolve his guilt. The lap in his memory, he could not understand why he couldn't remember anything. Yes, the sake was there, but still. That was too much for him not to remember. What baffled him though, they were naked. More importantly, Hoshi. When the hell did Hoshi got here? He remembered leaving her at Ichiraku when she had vanished off with a kiss. But here she was now, her cheek against his. Her cheek was so soft, silky, smooth. Not to mention his hand was tossed up against her chest. They were so soft and smooth, and he could not get the image out of his head as he stared. Now he remembered what happened last night. Yes, it was quite simple. As he had gotten drunk, and he got Hoshi, and the other girls in his room, and he had sex with all of them. He was gonna swap himself with a clone. One more move, and I'll gain jutsu into next week, said Mikato. Her eyes were closed yet. She was definitely awake, still holding on to his right arm. He's been away for some time now, so she was probably feeling a bit neglected. Yes, dear, said Naruto, however. About 3 seconds later, poof, he was gone. Naruto, she screamed, as that woke all of them up. As Hoshi woke up and saw everything, and she screamed as well. As Mikato was dead serious as she got dressed. She literally attacked him. His eyes were superior to her, so she could not place him under genjutsu, but she did attack him though. Thankfully, they were all cloaked before everyone else wake up, that being the kids. As Naruto has been dreading this moment, however, it seems like he could not hide anymore. So he brought them all to talk. So, you're all alright sharing him? Hoshi asks, in disbelief. She was a very loving and forgiving people by nature. However, this stretched her limits a bit. She had 3 clan ears in the room, including herself, and 2 delegates from Asan. Their situation should have been volatile. A bit of rage, however, the girls were welcoming. Her and Kushina as well. There was no argument or squabbling. It was just so strange. Well, I was his first, Mikato said. Naruto sighed, here it comes. First what? Said Karura. What did we do last night? Like I said, I was first, said Mikato. First to get a nasty genjutsu if she keep on talking, said Naruto, as they all flickered towards him. I have already had enough bickering from the last time, he said, as he couldn't allow them to get into an argument this time. It would go absolutely wild. As Kushina looked towards him, there was just something about Naruto that drew you to him, that made you want to fight for him. So apparently some sake was involved last night. A lot of sake. I am probably to blame for that. If you want me to apologize, now is the time, he said. Mikato looked away. Kushina's face became a bit red, as she remembers earlier words of wanting to take her out before anything intimate happened between them. Near as mine. And Hoshi eyes. I can tell that we all got wasted last night. I want you to understand that I never planned this. However, it does not change the fact that, and I'll say this as many times as I can for you guys to understand, I care about you all in equal measure. There is no favorite here. There never will be. Understand? Hey, excuse me. Konan says she wondered inside. Are you guys fighting? Her bright eyes looking at him with a bit of confusion. She's so cute, said Hoshi, as she squealed. As Naruto's eyes went wide at that was not what he expected, as Konan found herself wrapped up in a hug by the Hyuga. Alright, discussion over, said Naruto. Time for breakfast. To Hoshi's delight, Naruto was a wonderful cook. Uchiha being a cook. His clan did not know what they were missing. Time skip, one hearty meal later. Taijutsu, Naruto thought. Yep, he's been looking forward to this since he woke up. Well, he never thought he'd wake up in that situation, however. He's becoming too reliant on the fancy thing that the Uchiha clan provided him with. He had to go back to the basics to see what his skills were, when they did not focus too much on Nin or Genjutsu. Time to see what this body of his could really do. He assembled them all in his backyard, as he had dozens of clones working on renovations. If he's gonna be raising 3 orphans and looking after his girls, there will be a lot to be done. Thankfully, he knew a lot when it came to building. My physical skills have been getting a bit rusty in the past few days. Need to keep them sharp. Besides, his gaze turned to Konan and the rest. This will be a good chance for the kiddies to see what the shinobis can do. Kushina's eyes looked at him like he was crazy. He took on an army and he called his skills rusty. She wasn't sure she wanted to see him at 100%. Not to mention he was wearing his ancestor armor. He wouldn't tell them where he got it, however. The red contrasts with his black suit underneath. At that moment he looked just like his ancestor, minus the hair, seeing that he had it cut. But you didn't need long hair to strike fear into people. After all, the only reason why she kept her long was because he said he liked it. And she also liked when he ran his hand through it. And no, bad Kushina, she thought to herself. This is no time to think of that. I'll say it again, said Naruto as he placed the war fan over his shoulder. I won't use ninjutsu or genjutsu. You're free to use whatever techniques you want. Even then, he said that smirk. You won't be able to touch me. As his smile grew, becoming childlike. Whoever does, get a prize. A bold claim, said Mikato as she activated her Sharingan. You're not even going to use your bloodline. Nope. Hoshi agreed with that statement. You won't last a second, she said. We'll see, said Naruto in a sing-song voice, as Karura gulped a bit, as she was the only one that did not see what Naruto could do in physical combat. Even Hoshi got a glimpse of his skills. Alright, go. They blurred forward as one. They had a big weakness though. They did not know how to work as a team, as Naruto capitalized on that. His shortish hair danced in the air as he swing and duck and twist. He moved like a unruly flower that just kept on flipping and flapping by the wind, as all of his attacks felt so familiar as he moved through them like it was just a movement of his body without him even thinking about it. It seems like his body just reacted on its own. Mikato couldn't understand his fighting style was not just purely Uchiha. She could see elements of the Hyuga Jayugen. She could see traces of the Uzumaki style as he took on Kushina, even a smattering of the Sand Taijutsu as he held by the two Sand girls. Just what the hell was this? She's never seen anything like this before. As Mikato struck him right in the face, she was surprised. However, her hand passed through his face. His body was nothing but the after image. However, Naruto was three places at once, driving a punch in Hoshi's solar plexus, headbutting Mikato right in the head as he chopped Kushina behind the neck. As Pakura scorched the air where he stood, he just flew away, his body seeming to be a ghost as he moved. His punches were not lethal, however they were still strong. As Naruto hit Pakura last, as she crumbled to the ground. As Karura was standing there, he had tried to get her more confidence, however, it was hard going. Her family summons the scorpions didn't want to accept her because of that, as Naruto wanted to break her out of her shell. As he moved towards her, "I give up," she said. What? She could not fight through all of this. He was too fast for her to even keep up. As Kushina saw his back turned to her, she picked herself up with a groan as she launched herself forward, as her body then slammed into the ground. She was confused and surprised, as Naruto was holding her down on the ground, one hand holding behind her back. As Kushina couldn't even look up, there was no transition, he was just there one moment, next he was behind her. "And that is taijutsu," said Naruto as he looked towards the kids. Any question? The kids could not even talk. They were too shocked. He simply smiled. "Now why don't you go inside with Bakura and get changed? I can't train you guys in your pajamas." As Naruto reached down and placed his two fingers on the back of Bakura's neck, as it caused her to stir, a lot of curses were sent his way. Now, said Naruto. "What have we learned today?" "What? We were supposed to learn something," Kushina said. "What? Did you think I enjoy beating the tar out of you guys?" Mikato groaned. "Never underestimate your opponents." "Close, but no cigar," he said. "Always watch your blind spot," Hoshi said, as she cradled her stomach a bit. "Valid point, or wrong," said Naruto. "Don't always focus on your bloodline." "Also important but incorrect." "Teamwork," Kushina said. "Teamwork," said Naruto with a nod. "If you had all worked together from the start, the five of you would have stood a chance to try and overwhelm me. However, you guys were sloppy. Only one of you touched me, and then, just barely." Kushina knew that she had felt her fingers graze along the back of his armor, just slightly, but however, he had moved so fast it felt like she was hitting air, but she knew that she touched something. "And the winner is Kushina. Well, if you count, graze in the back of my armor, a hit." "How did you do that?" she said. "You weren't this good the last time." As she knew that level of speed that he moved with, it was luck that she hit him, not skill. As he helped her up, her eyes went wide and she found herself in his arms. Naruto wasn't usually this public about his feelings. Why the hell was she complaining? And who was she complaining to? But still, he was holding her so tight, and the others were watching. "Of course that wasn't," said Naruto. "I wasn't holding back this time. You should count yourself lucky for having no broken bones." As she flushed, "You said there was a prize." "I did." "What is it?" "This." As he planted his lips on hers, fire exploded in her stomach as she felt warm and safe. As she leaned into it, when he tried to pull back, she grabbed him and pulled him back. However, he pulled away. "You're a real jerk sometimes, you know that, right?" As he chuckled, "Love you too," he said. Time skip. Naruto left a clone behind as he made his way, as he had a promise to keep. "You're quite chipper today, aren't you?" said Snelly, as Naruto turned with a smirk. After all, he did make a promise to Hiruzen about what he was gonna do. The medical core. He had limited time. Although the old man didn't know something that he had up in his back sleeve. "Bullshit. You just came up with that this morning." "Yeah, but they don't need to know that," said Naruto. "I think it's quite inspiring to imprint information using your eyes. A lesser scale of what I once did." You again, said Yami. You again, said Naruto. As they said at the same time. A laughter went off in the back of his mind. Thought I went away, did you? Yeah, this was definitely not Madara. For one, it did not sound like Madara. It felt like fingers of ice was roaming up in his brain. Just what the hell was in there? As he tried to grab onto it to feel what it was. Who the hell are you? Said Naruto. I suppose you could say I'm an unwanted guest. Someone that was dragged back with you. A person that has an interest in seeing your little scheme for peace. Whether it fails or not, it's up to you. And then it was gone. The voice sounded female, but something made him quiver. That voice did not sound right at all. Whatever it was worse than Madara, wiser, and far more powerful than Madara. Earth to Naruto, as Naruto snapped back into reality. Spacing out, she asked. Yeah, something like that. As Naruto remembered the kiss the last time they were alone. And then there was a strange voice in his head mocking him. Alright, I'm sure you're wondering why I dragged you here. Precisely. How do you plan to train an entire medical corps in 3 days? When he told her about his proposal, she wanted to punch his head off his body from doing something so stupid. But he clearly had a plan. And she would see what it was first before she decided to act on her violent punches. As he assembled a small corps of shinobis, 10 of them in total. A series of jonins and chunins who, according to him, weren't afraid of a little pain. All of them were Uchiha. He had a row of clones facing them. You remember what I showed you in the sand? With my eyes, he said. How could I forget? You forced that thing right in my head when you gave me your message, she said. Well, I'm hoping that these guys will be more resilient. In essence, I'm going to imprint my knowledge and medical ninjutsu in their heads. With luck, they will be able to mimic them. She was reluctant about that, don't worry. Mikato and I handpicked them yesterday, after I spoke to the old-timer. Surprise, surprise. Some people in my clan aren't complete assholes. These 10 are more than willing to try their hand in medical career. They simply lack the skills. Snatty thought about it. As this was ingenious if it worked. However, there was a possibility of it not working. So, this will work then, she said. Well, if it doesn't, it will send them into a coma. But nothing venture, nothing gain, right? That's completely reckless. As Naruto activated his Mangekyou. As one of his clones doing the same, Snatty reared back a bit. As she didn't want anything to do with those wretched eyes. Tsukuyomi. All of their eyes turned gazed over. As their bodies stiffened straight. As Naruto was literally carving information in their minds. 30 seconds passed as they started to sweat. She didn't like it, Naruto, she said. However, he did not answer. She turned at his face as she saw that his face was trembling, like he was fighting to imprint the information in her minds. Naruto, he still didn't answer. Naruto, she said, as he jerked back to reality and fell. The others fallen as well. However, they seemed to be fine, as she looked them over. As Naruto picked himself up, you, he said. Name. She, sir. Her name was She. She, do you remember what you just saw? As she paused for a moment. I believe so, Naruto-sama. Can you replicate it? As she didn't know as she looked thoughtful. Well, only one way to find out, said Naruto. As he pulled a kunai and stabbed himself in his wrists. He didn't even bat an eyebrow at that. Well, he said, looking towards She. What are you waiting for? I'm going to bleed to death if you don't do something. Are you insane? Snatty yelled. Not at all, said Naruto. She, if you will. She laid her hand over his wrist. Almost instantaneously, green chakra started to spread from her palms. It surrounded her hand completely and went over the wound. Within minutes, a gaping cut had turned into a small paper cut, until all that was left was pink skin. As Naruto laughed in success, as the other 9 tried as well. The last one coming a bit slower than before, however, it was still a gigantic success. Well, couple more of that and as Naruto was grabbed by Snatty. You bastard, you actually did it, she said, as she hugged him rather tightly. This was something that was never proven yet. He was able to do the impossible. Snatty, can't breathe, said Naruto, as she kissed him. Silencing all of his complaining, she kissed him without even thinking. As she realized it, she jerked back rather quickly. Damn it. That wasn't... I didn't mean to... Before she could say something proper though, someone emerged from the shadows. Uchiha Naruto, the envoy said. Yes, your request has been approved. Danzo-sama will see you now. As Naruto glanced back towards Natty. It can wait, no, she said. Do what you have to do. Very well, said Naruto. But this was good. He was gonna finally speak to Danzo. He had something planned for that man. But guys, to be in subscribe right here. If you want to see the next part and do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out what if Naruto became the most powerful shinobi to protect his sister over an anime king, and enjoy that guys. And over in Making 3, I post a brand new episode of What If Naruto was half sane and half Kryptonian, so go ahead, check out that and enjoy guys. And remember, for new, yes, I do have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post What If on every single day. Yes, you heard that right, every single day for you guys to enjoy, so go ahead, click that red subscribe button, become part of the Anime King family, and thank you for all for your help and support, and yeah, without further ado, I'm off for now, see you guys soon, peace guys.